What's up, world? It's your boy DJ47. Thanks for tuning in to our YouTube page. If you like what you see, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to us as we hit you with new videos every week. One.
You're now listening to the sounds of KDPG Radio. Keep the party going.
And it's another episode of that One Shot Deal podcast.
I'm currently Miss Latina.
I know this is a really challenging time. I do want to say there's two sides of it.
Music don't lie. If it hits your heart and you start moving, why find it gets a good time?
It has an impact in my life. The more you open up, the more you inspire people.
Let's say you get trapped in a desert island, right? Which 3 albums are you taking with you? Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's your boy DJ47 alongside SeaDev, and it's another episode of that One Shot Deal podcast. And if you can tell all around the background, we in a special place today. But SeaDev, I'm gonna let you take it from here, dude.
Once again, my friends, I'm bringing y'all a king. Personal friend of mine, grew up in the same neighborhood. Now, you guys might have seen his name, sidewalks. You might have seen his name up on a wall. You might have seen his name on the side of a container. All over Wynwood, all through Kendall. You might have even seen him in Columbia, but I'll get to that a little bit later. The atomic bomb, Atomico, Atomik himself is in the building, y'all. What's up?
What up? How y'all doing?
Atom bomb in the house. Atomik, what's up, homie? You are one of the sickest graffiti niggas, period. How the hell? You came up from Debonair, what's going on, man?
Chilling, just painting, doing my thing.
All right, Atomik, how did you get your name?
My homeboy Honor gave it to me, and he gave me the name Atom. So it wasn't Atomic, it was Atom.
That's basically your name.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I just added the IK because there was other atoms out there.
Are there any other Atomics?
There are.
There are? Do they know about you?
Yes, I know about them.
All right. You let them know what's up? Were we battling for the name or?
No.
Is it spelled the same way?
All different ways, yeah. I'd spell it with a C, with a K.
You spell it with a C or a K?
Yeah, and I've done C and the K in one name or whatever, Well, yeah, there was a Atom from Brooklyn. He's still active. He still does his thing, and he's the OG one from Spray Can Art, published in Spray Can Art.
Nice. How did you get into graffiti?
Just seeing it around the neighborhood. Also, being able to draw and paint, and that's pretty much how I got into it. Seeing it, being inspired by it,
What's going on, fellas? How's everybody doing?
What up?
So yeah, you were just seeing it around the neighborhood. Who were the crews you used to see around your neighborhood?
Oh man, there's a lot of WOW, a lot of STV, a lot of VOW, a lot of FH. I'd say that were some of them around our neighborhood.
You already know.
That's a lot of alphabets over
Yeah.
there.
No, but the graffiti heads know what it is. STVs, that's like a long time, hard-hitting crew right there.
Fact.
Val, that's home team, Vicious Art Lords.
I remember it, Vandals at Large.
Vandals at Large.
Yeah.
Vicious Art Lords was another name that they went by.
All the crews got 100 different meanings to
Yeah,
them.
that's true. I remember STV had flipped it on people and they had used it as for Stop the Violence.
Oh, that's right.
They
I
had
remember the initial meaning that I remember was specialized to vandalize.
That's what it is. That's what it was. And shout out to Twice. Shout out to Twice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because not for nothing, when I started bombing, I was shocked to find out Twice was black.
Okay. Yeah, someone just told me that the other day. They were like, damn, I didn't know that. I forgot who was saying it, but
I think y'all people are racist. Then the other person you interviewed didn't know you were black?
Yeah. I was bombing, I went to South Dade and I started bombing over there, but I was bombing like the principal's office, like the door.
Yeah.
And then when a couple of other graffiti dudes found out that I was black, they were like, damn, dog, you black. I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How long you been doing this for?
I've been spray painting for like 24 years.
24 years?
24 years. I mean, a little bit before because, you know, I don't count the times where I was like leading up to, you know, my name or if I was like amateur at the time. You get what I'm saying? I was still amateur in 96, but I had a good idea of what was going on and where I was taking my style and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah, how old were you in 96?
15.
15?
Yes.
Okay.
I was born in 81.
Okay.
39 now.
39,
Yeah.
And you're still doing it?
Still.
Oh.
So it's got to be a passion for you, right?
Fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody said you got to get the 9 to 5 and paint and all like that. It's something you said I want to do myself.
Well, I studied graphic design, so there was
In
a
school?
little while. Yeah, I did 3 years. I got a bachelor's degree in 3 years from the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale, and I did the 9 to 5 thing for a little while. Sitting behind a computer, doing graphic designs. I remember doing one of your mixtape covers.
You did a few things for me.
Yeah. So and also I worked at Publix, I worked at Dairy Queen, I worked at GNC, I worked at other places. It wasn't always just art from the beginning.
What I meant
But
by
now.
saying is like this isn't public for you. This is not a job. This is
a
like
passion.
a career. This is a passion. It's a
Fact.
calling. Yeah, that's what I meant. By that.
Do you still got a 9 to 5 today?
No, I live off of my art.
Woo! Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You heard it. You've seen it. You've heard it. And you know it's the truth. Do you remember when was your first time bombing?
I do remember my first time bombing. Little electricity box around Devonair Villas, tagging in, you know, on the way to school, at the school. I remember my first spray paint tag was behind the Circle K, behind the convenience store by our crib. And my friend had went to Colombia on a family trip and left some spray paint stashed behind the store, and I grabbed my can and tried to do my thing, you know. But yeah.
That was the first time. Did you get a rush?
Yeah, of course.
How long before the second time came around?
I don't know, probably.
Immediate?
Yeah, probably real quick. Probably like the next day or the next week, or maybe not as quick. Another tag that stands out to me was with a blue spray can entering our complex on a palm tree. That's some Miami shit. Yeah, on a palm tree. I vandalized a palm tree. I wrote my name on the palm tree. And yeah, that was like the second tag that I remember doing with spray paint.
Have you ever got caught up? Like your cops ever caught you doing it?
Woo!
Yes. Many times.
What's that
Many
rule?
times.
That means there's a story to tell.
Yeah.
The story I got was I was in court. I don't remember what I was in court for, but I saw him in there. I was like, yo, fuck you doing in here, Tommy?
Yeah.
So whatever, he
What
came
year was that?
outside. Oh, I don't know. Do you remember what year that was? That got to be
Probably
at least 10 years
15
ago.
years ago.
Yeah. So then I see him, and I'm like, Atomik, what you here for? He's like, for bombing. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I don't know if you remember this.
No, I remember exactly.
All right, so maybe you could tell the story.
Yeah, I was leaving my friend's tattoo shop in West Miami. It's called Ocho Placas on Calle Ocho and 62nd Avenue.
Okay, that's more north.
Yeah. So, bam, I was going down the street, and a lot of times you can do a tag with your hands and your fingers on the pollution, on the dirt that's been caught on a wall. So I did just that. I got off my bike, I did my tag with my fingers on the wall, and then I turn around, there's a police officer there, and they're like, you know, get on the floor, hands on the hood, whatever. And bam, from there, it was so funny. They're like, oh, you matched the description of a robbery that just happened around the corner. So he took me over to a house to identify me to see if I was the individual. And I always, when I tell the story, I tell people, yeah, they identified me and said yes, and then I got locked up for some other shit, but that didn't happen. They're like, no, this isn't the guy. But yeah, I went, it's crazy because that was West Miami. You go to court in Coral Gables, and they showed up every single time. They didn't take me to jail that day. They gave me a written arrest, a PTA, promise to appear. And I went to court. I didn't just, skip out on it or not go.
But let me ask you something. With that type of charge, like, what is it? A misdemeanor, felony?
Criminal mischief, misdemeanor. At that point, you can get felonies for doing graffiti.
If you're
like,
habitual.
Not necessarily. Yeah, I'm sure 3 strikes you're out type of vibe. But if you're doing like a highway sign or a metro rail or some government property, or you get what I'm saying, it could be.
What is the worst case scenario? Like, what is it? Like, you get jail time. You get a
jail
fine.
time. Jail time, restitution.
You know anybody that's got?
How much is jail time? Like what's the max you could possibly get for doing something like that?
I don't really know personally. The fines can get in cities where there's a very big problem with graffiti. The fines are heavier, the sentences are longer, so and you also get other charges too. When you're doing graffiti, it's not just like, oh, it's just this charge. You're like trespassing, burglary. They hit you with like, if you're like, if you're on a rooftop, you get burglary.
Oh wow,
it's weird.
Breaking and entering too, probably.
Yeah, they give you certain charges. So I'm sure that artists have been hit with 6-figure fines for doing crazy activations or vandalism or whatever. And I'm sure artists have sat for 3 years, 3 to 5 years, depending, because, you got to take your past into consideration as well. If you got something going on from before, if you have an open case, probation, whatever, all that stuff gets thrown into the pot, and then they give you your bottom line. So,
what's the longest sentence or highest fee you've heard from a fellow artist or somebody told you like, oh, such and such got hit up for...
There's a book that was published called The $1 Million Vandal.
Ooh.
And yeah, so they say, this artist, Dessa from New York City, DESA from MTA Crew, did like $1 million worth of damage. Now, whether or not he had to pay $1 million, it's a different story. They always try to
beef it up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Add a little shit to the pot.
Yeah.
Fuck the police.
That's right.
Fuck the police.
That is right.
So, what do you think, how did you keep going? Because I remember you being on South Beach doing hats.
That's right.
For people. I think, what were you doing? Putting people's name for...
Yes. That's funny that you mentioned that. I tell that story all the time about how when Art Basel first came to Miami, I went to the convention center with some trucker hats and sat outside and did people's names on hats. $20 a pop, whatever it was,
And you were getting them off.
Yeah.
Obviously, you did that more than once because I didn't see you at the
at the convention center.
I saw you on Ocean Drive, chilling in the grass part, like right where all the cars are passing.
Yeah.
You were there, and I was like, "Yo, Atomik, what's up, nigga? What you doing?" Like, "Yo, I'm doing these hats with people's name on it, man. Selling them." I was like, "For real?" You're like, "Yeah." I think right there, some girl walked up. And she was just like, oh, look. She called her friends over. I want a hat. And you just started. I was like, yo, I'll catch you later, dog. Keep doing your shit. But
so what happened? You do the hat on the spot?
On the spot.
At that time, yes. I did. I think before that, leading up to that, I was doing airbrushing in school, like backpacks, T-shirts, jean jackets, or jeans, or whatever it was,
So how long would it take you to do one on the spot?
I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
I thought that would take a couple of hours,
Right. No, it was probably, some quick, simple bubble letters real fast, yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question because you brought up Art Basel. Is Art Basel even happening this year? And if so, how's it going to work with the whole COVID?
Okay, so this is the deal about Art Basel. It happens at the Miami Beach Convention Center. That's the official Art Basel with the pink branding. That's, when you see Art Basel in pink, it's Art Basel at the convention center. Now, that's not happening. That's indoors, not happening this year. Now, what happens along with Art Basel is a whole different question. There's a bunch of spin-off fairs and a bunch of parties and other things that happen, but there's also the city side of things with street art and murals and graffiti and just a street vibe. They blocked off Northwest 2nd last year, and I think they did it before. The main strip running through the Arts District is blocked off. There's no car traffic or whatever. So I don't know exactly what is going to happen this year. Art Basel, the convention, the fair, the official one is canceled, but you can't stop people from going out on the streets and painting and try to hustle hats right there. Boom,
You think that's still going to happen this year?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So y'all here, y'all still come out and represent and support your local artists, all right?
It's going to be very local this year because the borders are blocked. Who's coming in? You don't have all the Paris and Berlin and all these, Tokyo, London, all these foreigners and international.
Yeah, they usually come out every year.
Yeah, dude.
And what's the date for it? December what?
First weekend of December.
First weekend, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the whole weekend. It's not a week thing.
Well, now you have the build up, the breakdown. So you have stuff going on the weekend before, stuff going on the weekend after, the weekend of course, it's the whole
crazy
main event. Yeah, but it spans let's say 14 days, 10 to 14 days or whatever.
Let me ask you a quick question before you can move on, because I wanted to get a little backtrack and all. This is always an artist. It always inspires me. It's wild. As anyone can tell, we're looking at his artwork, as we can tell. When did you wake up and decided that you can draw, or I don't even know if I'm saying the correct word. I don't want to disrespect a painter and an artist and like that. But when did you decide? Because if I make a line or two, I'm already like scratching it off because I know I can't do it. So how do you know that you end up doing that?
It wasn't even me. It was my parents that saw I had a talent. And they said, okay, we see that you can draw or paint or whatever. We're going to get you classes outside of school. So, boom, I started taking weekend classes. And then from there...
How did you feel when they told you that? Were you like, thank you, or...?
I just went with it, yeah. I wasn't like...
No,
to the point where I was like rebelling.
You weren't rebellious,
or whatever, yeah.
nothing.
I was with it, yeah. Let's do it. I was a JIT in elementary school.
Shout out mom and dad for that.
They've always nurtured my art. So fast forward junior high school, they put me in the magnet program, or put me to apply for the magnet program instead of going to Arvida. I go to Southwood.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Southwood is the magnet.
Southwood Middle School. I went there for art. I got kicked out towards the end of the second year. They refused to submit my application to Dash or New World, which is the high school level of magnet art program. And
why did
just
they?
Bad behavior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you getting in any type of trouble during that time?
Yes. Well, yes. I got kicked out of summer school at Arvida for spray painting the wall across the street with Jimmy.
Nice. Shout out Coles.
Yeah. Someone snitched everyone out in middle school. And let's say 5 to 10 people got kicked out of the program, or the summer school got kicked out. So it started with that, getting suspended.
How did your parents feel about that? Like, were they supportive? Were they like, keep painting?
No.
Or
They weren't like, when they drew the line was when I got arrested. That was when they drew the line and was like, okay, we're not going to support this anymore, or at least this specific
genre
of art. Everything went in the garbage can, the markers, the magazines, the sketchbooks, the books, everything just gone. Boom. No more, You get arrested, that's, I think I was in, I don't know, the first time I got arrested, I was probably a freshman in high school, maybe, yeah.
How did you feel when you were locked up about it? Like, were you like, I'm not gonna do this anymore? Or were you like, fuck them?
They didn't take me in. The first time I got arrested, I went to Station 5 on 117th Ave, and my parents came and picked me up. So I didn't go to jail right then and there. But I was already all in, dude. Yeah, there was no stopping or whatever,
There's no going back, huh?
Yeah.
The question I remember I was gonna ask you, because you were saying that your mom and your pops took you to like art schools and so can art be taught? Like someone like me who can't draw for nothing, can I be taught, or is this something you have to have?
No, practice makes perfect. There's a lot of people that may not have the ability to draw or to create something from scratch, but it's you can always trace. A lot of tattoo artists, they trace, oh, I want that tattoo on the wall right there. They get it, they print it out, they do a stencil of it, they put it on your arm, and you just trace away,
Yeah.
Sort of. It's easier said than done. Tattooing is not easy at all.
So as an artist, what do you think about tracing? You think of like rappers like myself, like, oh, you don't write your own shit, you know what I'm saying? How about painting? Is the same thing with the tracing?
It's weird because we're talking tracing. That's one thing. In my regard, you have projectors now, so you can go to a wall. A building, forget a wall, you go to a skyscraper building, 10, 20 stories, and project your image on that wall and then trace it out, and you
Have you ever done that?
I've used projectors, yes, for certain jobs, for fonts and logos and stuff. It cuts out the whole not creative process, but just that sketch process. I mean, especially fonts and logos. Those are computer generated. It's very difficult to do something like that with a can or with a paintbrush or whatever. But,
Is that
yeah.
you being hired to do something, or that's you just going out there?
No, that's hired. That's commission. I'm sure people do break out their projectors for something personal.
Yeah.
A lot of people do it for canvases and whatnot. It just kind of eliminates the sketching process. So you could take a sketch that you did by hand and then project, and you still have that raw feel to it.
Yeah.
You just skip the process of doing it on the wall, and you have it ready to go, and then you can start doing it, you know? So
Well-
it's looked down upon on certain regards, but then if you're doing it for a job, time is money. You eliminate, however many hours of, planning and graphing it out, and, sketching it and erasing it.
Well, let me ask you, do you basically know the history of graffiti and all like that, or at least the one in Miami? Because the main question I want to know is the fact that, when it was so looked down on for so many years, and now they got a thing called wynwood, where it's like kind of like praise that people want to go out there just to take pictures and all like that. Where did wynwood come from?
Well,
Good question.
yeah, the history. Okay, so you mentioned the history of where it started. So there's a couple of publications that were printed or released in, I want to say, the 80s, probably the early 80s. A couple documentaries, the New York City graffiti subway movement and all that. So that's documented.
Beat Street.
Yeah, Beat Street, Wild Style, Breaking,
Wild Style, that was-
Style Wars,
Electric
all these,
Boogaloo.
yeah, all these things, were documented and released, and then the whole world, fed off of that. Now, of course, there was scenes going on in other countries, other cities that they had their own, scene going on that wasn't necessarily influenced by the New York City movement. Miami's movement, if you ask me, came from New York City. And I'm sure there's some dudes that will say, no, that's not true. Miami had their own art, whatever. But a lot of people came down from New York City in the 70s and the 80s and brought that culture with them, So, with that being said, yeah, it was frowned upon. Now you have wynwood. Wynwood, it was a plan. Wynwood was a plan from the beginning.
It was a plan.
It was a plan. Well, of course, okay. Forget the arts district. Wynwood's a neighborhood, a residential neighborhood. There was also the commercial neighborhood, predominantly Puerto Rican, whatever. There was a scene there, of course, before all these like real estate investors and people started buying up the properties and bringing in all the top-notch artists from around the world and hyping it up to, raise the value of their properties and start a district or whatever. So. That's how it started. There was the real wynwood, which is still there. You still got the residential side of it, and then there's a bunch of people were taken out of the commercial side or the industrial side because there was residences within that 29th to 20th Street area. But yeah, basically, it was planned. The wynwood we see now was planned.
Okay.
Yeah.
The funny thing about it, when you're saying that New York came down to Miami to do all this painting and all like that, while in New York they're here like erasing the graffiti. Like Harlem,
Right.
It's not Harlem no more. Brooklyn ain't Brooklyn no more. I guess they got tired of it, so they cleaned it up over in Harlem, and they just brought it out here to wynwood in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, it was all over. Graffiti was all over Miami in the 80s,
Yeah,
in the
so-
90s. They kind of cracked down. I feel like in the mid 90s or the late 90s, there was a big painted over everything, but it's contained now. I feel like the graffiti problem in Miami is contained to wynwood for the most part.
Well, let me ask you something real quick. So how do you feel about all these years, getting arrested for your artwork and graffiti, and now all of a sudden it's like the it thing in wynwood, and like again back people taking pictures. Now it's really commercial, and now it's everyone's praising it when you used to get arrested for it. It's kind of like weed. How weed once upon a time was legal. Now
Yeah.
it's like in every corner of this
Right.
neighborhood.
For sure. Well, with my specific situation, I moved from writing my name and doing letters, styles, and whatnot to doing a cartoon that has a smile. So it generates, it lets off a good feeling. It's not like, oh, this guy's like writing his name, his crew, we don't know what it is, whatever. You can look at it, make eye contact with it, and feel the energy from it. It's kind of a good feeling. So I can paint that in the street, and a lot of times people don't even think it's a crime. People don't think that I'm doing it illegally. They just assume I have permission or commission or whatever it might be, and don't even take that.
Well, the question was like, how do you feel about being arrested all the time, and then now it's like kind of legal and perfectly fine? Like, how do you feel?
Yeah. It's cool, I had a good run of not getting arrested. I was going in and out of jail a lot, doing my graffiti thing, and then there was like a 7-year window where I didn't get locked up once. I didn't get caught once. But when what's changing now, they found me doing graffiti or doing my street art, doing it in Wynwood without permission. They took me to jail. It's like, damn. Dude,
Recently?
Yeah, recently in 2018, I'm there doing my thing, and I'm like, why are you taking me in? Like, I thought it was all good over here. It's the arts district. We're supposed to be doing this, right? No, it's changing big time.
I guess it's like weed. I mean, you can smoke weed, but if they feel like they want to arrest you, they can technically still arrest you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to your this character. Because this character is big. This character is big. Did you expect that this character was gonna get this big?
No.
How did you come up with it, and what told you to run with it?
Okay.
Because hold on, before I get into that, the character is it's dope, it's iconic, but Atomik, I've seen some of your drawings and you got some wicked shit. So when I first saw this, I was like, ugh, is this Atomik? And then I was always expecting something else, but then it ended up being everywhere. So take me through it with this character.
Okay, so the Orange Bowl had a mascot called Obi.
Oh, okay.
So you have Obi the mascot, and it goes to the parades, it goes to the games.
That's what I thought it was. I thought you were the one who made that mascot.
No, that was. So I got my reference, my motivation, my direct like inspiration from the second wave of Obi, because the first one was more hand drawn. It was a mascot of a football stadium in the city of Miami. And the second one was more like computer graphic, or it might have still been drawn out, but it just had that like...
They ran it through the computer.
Yeah, it just had the qualities of a logo that it could be, reduced to the size of a dime or blew up, whatever, the size of a billboard. And when they demolished the Orange Bowl in 2008, I did like an RIP.
Whoa. They demolished it back in 2008? I thought it was like 3-4 years ago. It's been over, what, 12 years?
Yeah, they started in 2007. They finished the demolition in 2008, and I did I painted a rooftop with my name, my homeboy's name, and then I did a character in the middle, and it was the Orange Bowl logo, Obi. And from there, I just kept going with it. I don't know what it was that kept me going with it, but
were you getting feedback? Is this just nothing?
Yeah, probably. I was probably getting good feedback and positive response from it, and I just kept going with it. I felt the vibe,
So did it click into your head like, yo, I'm gonna put this guy everywhere, or was it like it's a good part of when I put my name up? It's just a good add-on.
So it took me a few years to transition. So it wasn't like in 2008 I just stopped doing graffiti and writing my name and doing pieces or bombing or whatever it was. It took me 2 years to transition from my name to my character. And I took the same qualities and the same, like, I don't know what the word is, but I did the same thing that I did with graffiti and writing my name everywhere all over and over and over again with the character. And just, I told myself if I could do graffiti and write my name for 10, 15 years non-stop over and over again, I could do it with this character. So, and then, start selling canvases and whatnot. People, slowly but surely didn't sell out right away when I exhibited them, but little by little they moved. So I just kept making more shirts, whatever.
How did you transition from the street to the art studio?
It's kind of the same thing. I use spray paint for larger pieces, and it looks like I just took a piece of a wall right off of and put it on a canvas. When I do marker drawings, smaller pieces, I have to use a marker, and I don't use marker on the streets. I only use spray paint or roller paint or whatever. So I don't know. It kind of the transition for me was smooth. I mean, I was always doing aside from the art, my pops always instilled like a working ethic and a business frame of mind. So I always had that little hustle, airbrushing and doing rooms and little stuff like that. So, and then studying the graphic design and whatnot. So, you know, I had that in mind already. It all
That's
kind
all
of
to
just
say. That's
brewed up.
where you want to take it anyway, right? That was the level you were going.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily planned out. Like,
Okay.
oh, I'm gonna, you know, take this and start selling it. It was just a natural thing for me. But I kept going with it, and you know.
Just to backtrack real quick, because you said the exclusive, the real that comes down, the show that comes down, Art Basel, is in the convention center. Have any of your pieces ever been?
I've never been.
You've never even been.
Forget any of my work. I've never stepped foot in the convention center for Art Basel. I've been to, you know, Scope or Red Dot or Art Miami or
Why
these
is
other
that?
fairs. It's not really like my thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather be painting in the streets or doing my own thing, pushing my own work. Now, to be inside of Art Basel, you have to either A, rent out the booth yourself. I'm sure you have to be approved and accepted. You can't just be like, oh, I want to rent a booth in Art Basel. Yeah, let me go. No, you have to like really
Get
be
approved.
doing it. Yeah, you really got to be doing it. You got to
Probably
break
have to get
some
permits as well.
yeah, you have to break serious bread to get into there, and most of the artists, I would think, don't rent out booths themselves. They have a gallery or someone that's funding it or whatever rent it. You know,
How much does your painting go for from average, from low to high?
my paintings, I make my work very affordable. I sell sticker packs where I do one original drawing on a sticker for $25, and then just throw a couple
Hold on,
other
hold on, hold
stickers
on, hold
in
on.
there.
We're gonna show the stickers right. Boom, there. All right.
Edit them in or whatever. Yeah. So anywhere from, you know, $25 you can get an original from me to, I don't know, the most I've ever sold my work for is like 15 grand.
15 grand.
And that yeah.
Beautiful.
That's you know. I wanna-
Okay, all right. We gotta
I wanna
backtrack.
step it up. Yeah,
I want to ask before all the selling and all this, back to the streets. This is the last thing from the streets, and after this question, we're gonna dive into your studio life.
Okay.
Being that you was bombing everywhere, like you said, your name everywhere. Okay, you from Miami. Miami's a rowdy town. You can't be putting your name everywhere and not catch no motherfucking beef. So before the beef, what crew were you affiliated with? And can I get some of the names of those crew members?
Okay. Well, I'm still part of the crews to those days, to these days before I caught beef. Well, we were in a crew together.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. We still in the crew, nigga. What you
TK,
talking about?
From TK, you know, we have Coz and True and Spot and Rebel and Jerns and all the other
Shout
homies.
out all my dogs.
Yeah, all the homies. But the crew that I really like, I went from TK to, let's say, like HA. There was a crew called HA that some of the older dudes put me down with on like a younger level. So I was in BHA, baby HA, you know, high altitude. Then there was a crew that we started called TSC, and that
remember
was
seeing that.
Yeah, TSC, and then
What did that stand for?
Top Skills Crew or Taking South Cities, or there's a bunch of different meanings
Yeah.
for it. But yeah, I would say around TSC is when there was some static. Yeah.
Who'd you have beef with, though?
Nah, I'm not gonna mention any specific names of who I have beef with. I don't want to, you know,
Bring
shine
that
light.
back up.
Yeah, nah, I'm down to talk about it, but I don't want to shine light on any one specific member or any one specific person, so to say. But I remember there was a point where I was doing all these pieces in the streets that were taking me a weekend to do. You know, I'm putting, let's say, 12 hours into a piece, putting all this detail, doing all the background, doing whole murals. And I had a couple of them accumulated throughout Overtown and downtown and Wynwood. And, you know, let's say I had a dozen of them. And within one weekend, all of them got taken out. They just went and did throw-ups over my shit, you know? And then
Same person?
Same crew.
They targeted
in
you.
the beginning, it wasn't a person.
Real quick, when you say throw, what does that mean? Like they
throw.
Just
Throw.
something quick. So when I was doing like a masterpiece or a mural that was taking, you know, a significant amount of time, a throw up or going over me or a bomb or whatever was just quick, 2 colors. You know, it could even be 1 color where you just scratch it out. And that was when there was a problem, and they weren't writing a specific name, so they were going over Atomic, but they were writing a crew name. you know.
And they weren't putting their name
They
back.
weren't putting their name. And I remember there was a lot of like, oh, you know, well, let's like resolve it right away. You got a beef. You're going over this person. Let's just fight it out and settle it,
So
right?
that's what happens when you start crossing people out.
Right. Yeah.
Alright.
You end up fighting, and they didn't want to fight. You know, there was a while where.
So you
let's say
knew
a
the
year-
crew. You knew the crew that was doing this.
Yeah, I knew of them. I didn't know them personally, but yeah,
So what was the beef over?
just graffiti. I don't know. It might have been like a rivalry. So okay, we jump into crews and whatnot. I got down with several crews. You know, crews that I didn't start or make a reputation or a name for, but I ended up getting in that crew. So we could say, oh, it was an inherited beef that like, you know, this crew didn't like that crew and I'm repping this crew, so bam, they crossed my shit out. It could be that, it could just be, I'm not quite sure what, you know, just jealousy or envy or I remember there was, you see, they like to, the people that I had problems with, and still, you know, some people still cross my work out. I'm not having fought over graffiti for quite a long time, but they like to point out a specific moment in time of something that I did, right? But leading up to that moment, it was just, you know, poking me in the eye, you know, and not linking up for the one-on-one. And, you know, you got to do something to bring people out and bring them to the front and say, hey, let's handle it, you know? So they like to focus on certain things that I did. And hey, you know, it's just writing over people, crossing people out.
You crossing other people
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
All right. So you've done your fair share of crossing motherfuckers out.
Crossing people out, yeah.
I
haven't done it for quite a while because it's just
Unnecessary.
yeah, you're running around in circles. And it's a negative, you know, you're putting out negativity out there. I don't, you know, if someone wants to cross out my work these days, I just come back and fix it if I'm able to. If I'm in that, you know, area. or if
I've
I'm-
never
yeah.
heard of anybody saying that. I'm gonna
Right.
come back and fix it.
Yeah, I don't go and cross people out anymore. That to me,
Even
is
if they've
pointless.
crossed you out?
Yeah, people cross me out regularly, and I just go and fix it if I can. I'm not gonna go and cross
that
them
mu-
out. I don't
Let
care.
me ask you, what do you get out of painting on walls without, you know, even getting paid for it, or chances of it being erased or something like that? So what do you get at just going there and taking 12 hours of your time to do that?
It's just a hobby, or something like it becomes addictive for sure. You know, writing and trying to outdo the last thing you did. So you have your photo album or your sketchbook or your portfolio or whatever it might be, your social media page or whatever, and you want to outdo the last one you did, or just build a body of work. You know, you can just a lot of
That's
people.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You use that as like a resume type of thing, or
Yeah.
you want to be an obviously. I guess you write your name in the bottom like an artist. Do you want to be recognized, or is this you just, you know, letting things out, like, you know, a therapeutic type of vibe?
With my specific thing, you don't see a signature on this one on the bottom left or bottom right. It might be on the side, it might be on the back. To me, that is my signature. So
Nice.
yeah, I paint the same thing every time for the most part. You know who it is, you know who did it. If you don't know, then hey, no problem. You know, you might figure it out, you might not. But artists that change their medium or change their objects that they're painting, or you get what I'm saying? They put their name and you know it was that person because they signed it or whatever. So with me, it's a little bit different or whatever. But yeah, I don't necessarily sign all of my work, but graffiti and street art to me is like one big signature. You know,
Definitely
from
is.
where my point of view.
Okay.
All right, so we went through your beefs. Who were your idols? Or who did you look up to, or who
I
were you
looked
just
up
like,
to
yo?
Mir. I looked up to Mir from Wild Crew, and I think he was in a couple other crews. Mir was doing the airbrushing on the lowriders. I remember when I was
Yeah.
in Southwood, one of my friends lived on the same block or right next door to Mir, so he would bring in his photo album of his airbrushing, bring in his sketchbook of his drawings, bring in his photo album of his graffiti, bring in a painted jacket or whatever, you know. So Mir came through Devonair and did some pieces and did some tags and did some throw ups and whatnot.
Yeah, he
you
was
know?
down with Val,
Yeah,
with Box.
Right.
He was down with Big Box.
Willie. Yeah, those dudes. So Mir inspired me a lot for sure. I credit Mir with a lot of inspiration for sure.
Shout out Mir.
Where are you originally from? You from here?
I'm from Miami, born and raised from Kendall. Yeah.
Kendall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Devonair to be exact.
From Devonair, yeah.
Devonair to be exact.
Number 4, Devonair Village number 4.
Get it right, y'all. My dog.
Yeah.
So then that's a question to ask you both. How do you guys know each other? How do you guys meet up?
Shit, I don't even know how I'm
School?
being kids.
Maybe school. I don't know.
Nah,
When-
we met in the neighborhood way before school.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
He
so
lived
just-
across the street from Co's and whatever, nigga, running around playing soccer, playing football, playing one of
right.
them shits.
That's right.
So you said you're Devonair 4. So what are you?
Number 3. Number 3.
Yeah.
And I'm not from Devonair, but I'm still ranked number
You the crossings.
1.
You the crossings. You the crossings. Y'all were soft.
I'm not the crossing. We weren't the crossing.
That's technically the crossings.
The lingering homes. The crossings. It's all good. I mean, a lot of people be like, "Oh, you're from Kendall? Pff, soft." You know, it's like, hey, I was born in Baptist Hospital. That's a private hospital. I wasn't born in Jackson in the county hospital. I was privileged from out the womb.
You know what? Next time they tell you Kendall soft, just say, yo, just go rent the movie Cocaine Cowboy and tell me how fun. Like, all them locations basically in Kendall.
Yeah.
Don't get mad because our parents were. What's the biggest wall you've done?
Well, as far as height goes, I think maybe 3 stories tall.
God damn.
Yeah, there's the club in Wynwood on the train tracks called Wynwood Factory. It's still up right now. I think it might be 3 stories tall, in between 2 and 3 stories tall, but it's up there.
Cherry picker or windshield wiper?
No. It was a cherry picker, an articulated boom lift to get up there. Yeah. And then wide, I don't know. I don't necessarily know. I did one in Denver recently that was quite large, quite wide. I don't know the exact measurement of it. You know, maybe 100 feet, 250 feet.
What part of Denver?
It was in the Rhino. It was a building called Rock Drill. The train runs right by it. My friend has a studio space in there, and I just did the side of a huge wall with all roller paint, not with the spray.
Damn, so you just take your art, you going on a world tour.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Where has this graffiti taken you, dog?
All over. Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, Caribbean, Central America, South America. I don't know. I'm probably running around in circles now, but I've been. I want to go to Antarctica and paint down there one day. You know,
This nigga gonna paint on a woolly mammoth.
Where were the first location you painted after Miami?
Puerto Rico. My mom's from the island of Puerto Rico, and my dad's New Yorican. So I remember going to Puerto Rico and painting in my grandma's yard and my uncle's yard. Yeah, I painted in PR.
Oh wow.
So do you get the love, like when you go out of town, are there people like, yo, we already know you, or?
It varies. Yeah, a lot of places have no idea who I am or what I do, and I don't know anything about their scene either, you know?
Okay.
Well, with these days, you know, you got World Wide Web, so you could, you know, or social media, you could research and make connections or whatever, but, yeah, some places know who I am, some places don't know who I am.
So when you go out of town, you're painting the piece behind you.
Yeah.
Man, they know you from Miami. They're like, that looks like some sunny
Right.
sunny
Believe
islands
it or
type
not,
of day.
believe it or not, some people have no idea where Miami is. I mean, I've been to places that
Wow.
are very far away from here, dude. You're in, you know, in Thailand or in
So
South
they never
Korea
heard of
or
Miami.
you're in Hong Kong. You say you're from Miami. Like, what do you say? New York, LA, London? Where are you from?
Yeah,
Like, I have
Miami's
no
still not on the
idea.
map yet?
I mean, it's a
Damn.
lot
It's
of
up
people
there,
do, but I've
you
been
gotta say
around,
New
you know?
York. You gotta say New York.
Yeah.
You gotta say LA.
Most people know those 2 cities, those 2
Of
large
course you gotta
cities.
say
but-
New York.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, made me fuck up
But
my
yeah,
train
I
of
mean,
thought.
most people do recognize that it's a Florida, a Miami thing, but then there's a lot of places that have oranges as well, you know. So you could be in Valencia, Spain, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're painting the orange from here," you know, or you could be in Orange County in LA or whatever, and you know. So different places have oranges, and they still, you know, it could be transferable.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah.
Real quick, can you what a permission wall is? What is that?
Okay, so a permission wall is, it could be one of 2 things. You go and ask for permission and say, hey, can I paint your wall? Or someone approaches you and asks you to paint their wall.
Okay. Now, being that you're going out of town, are you doing permission walls or are you fucking guerrilla style?
Nah, 9 times out of 10, I think probably 100% of the time.
What?
I go with my stickers, I go with my markers, I go and I get spray paint, and I do my thing on my own.
Gorilla?
Yeah, Gorilla to the max.
Whoa.
I'm not flown out there. I pay for it out of my pocket, and I go and advertise. So people are like, oh, why are you still writing on walls and, you know, risking your freedom to do this? Well, to me, if you ask me,
that's the question I was going to ask.
I'm advertising. You know, I'm advertising my name and my logo and my services, even if it's a crime. You know, I'm out there, I'm putting up stickers and I'm promoting it, just the visual, it's getting out there. I accumulate a couple followers here, a couple followers there, whatever it is, bam, I'm out there networking and doing my thing. And you know, most of the times I'm not. There are permission walls. So in a lot of cities, you could go, there's websites you could go to. Let's say,
Oh, shit.
I haven't really done this myself, to be completely honest, but let's say you go to a graffiti shop, a spray paint store. You can ask them, hey, where can I use this paint and not get in trouble? And they'll say, okay, you know, go here, and you can paint all you want.
Is that what you do when you go out of town?
Nah, not from time to time I do it, you know, but then you may do one piece there and then move on from there, or wherever you're staying at or wherever you travel to, you know. There's
Okay, so when you do paint out of town, are you aware of where you're painting? Because I know when you do it in your own town, you're aware of, you know how cops roll this side, this
Right.
and that. But when you out, especially out the country, you don't know.
That's
how
what I
far
want to know.
it
Out
is.
of the country, you do it in solo. You got lookouts. What the fuck?
There's a little bit of both. If you link up with someone that's local, then you know you got a little bit of a plus for you.
Hell yeah.
If you don't know anyone and you're doing your own thing, then you're just kind of blindly roaming and doing your thing, watching your back. You might have someone watching your back that you're traveling with or whatever. A lot of times, yeah, you know, I know where I'm at, but you may not know like exactly what's going on there. You know, I remember one time I was painting a legal trailer, an RV, and I was on the east side of Los Angeles, and they rolled on us. One time rolled on us, said, you know where you're at right now? Yeah, I know where I'm at, but like, it's going down out there. So they were almost like kind of warning me, like, hey, you know, you need to like know where you're at, you whatever it is, you know. So that's one aspect of it. I have been, you know, locked up and arrested in other countries.
In other
And
countries?
yeah, and it never, they settle it right then and there. You pay a fine, you whatever, you go in and out, no problem. Or if it's corrupt, you just pay the person that got you or the police officer or whatever it is. You get what I'm saying? I don't always know where I'm at, but that's fun. Getting lost, going and just bombing your way out, bombing your way in, or painting or sticking or tagging or whatever it is, you know?
Jesus Christ.
I can just follow my trail back to my Airbnb or to my hostel or
Man.
my hotel.
Let me tell you
The
something.
crib,
This
you know?
motherfucker
Yeah.
said,
Yo.
I go bombing out of the country. I don't know where I'm at. And then he used the word hostile. Did y'all hear this motherfucker?
The
Woo!
question I have to ask after that is, you know, I mean,
God damn. Jesus.
what are you afraid of?
Nothing.
Like, you have any
okay.
fears in your
Now,
life?
let's fast forward.
Good question.
Let's fast forward now to, you know, 2020. I have a wife.
I was gonna
I have
just
two
say
children.
that.
Okay.
The fear's
So it's-
coming in.
It's a little bit different now. When I got locked up in 2018. I'm
Where were
like,
you at?
damn.
Where'd you get locked up at?
First time was in downtown, right by the river.
Uh-huh.
Second time was in Wynwood. They take you both times to TGK, out west, 36th Street and 72nd Ave. So I'm sitting in there like, damn, you know, my wife and kids are out. They don't have my protection. They don't have me to call them or do whatever it is. You know, what's going to happen tomorrow? So that's I guess if I do have a fear, it's of like not being around for my family.
I agree.
I mean, that's a good fear to have. You know,
Yeah.
if you're gonna have any type of fears, you know, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
And of course, getting locked up, like that leads to it. But yeah, if there is a fear, it's getting locked up. It's not necessarily like running into some crazy other drama, violence or whatever. But it's more the law and not being able to come home.
So I always like to ask these people who ever got arrested and all, what's the worst part for you, getting locked up or going to court?
For me, it's getting locked up, I think. Yeah, I haven't really done much time at all, you know, maybe a couple days, maybe a couple weeks max. I've never done more than a week or two in jail, county jail, not, you know, going to prison or going to whatever. And then I've been fortunate not to get hit with fines or restitution or crazy, I've done the community service and the probation and all this stuff.
I
But
know,
like,
because sometimes court is the unknown. Like, you don't
Yeah.
know what's going to happen. That's why I
Right.
said I'd rather go to jail, do the 24 hours or whatever the
Right.
case is, and pay whatever I got to pay and be out.
Yeah.
But going to court and not knowing what can happen,
Yeah.
that's a little. And then got to go every month, because you know they
Right.
always postpone the shit
Yeah.
like that. So you're going to months, maybe a year or so, just not
Yeah.
knowing where you're going to end up.
for sure. Back then, when I was getting locked up a bunch and getting arrested a lot, it was on that note. 2018, I hire a lawyer. They do
now
the
it's
they,
different.
yeah
Now
they
it's
do
different.
it. I
We
get
grown
bailed out.
now.
Yeah, I get bailed out. I play my lawyer, and they they
Shit.
go to court for me and handle it. What I do, for the most part, like I mentioned before, it's a minimal crime on the scale of crimes.
So it's a misdemeanor.
It depends, yes, but
Okay.
in my case, it's usually a misdemeanor. I don't go crazy hard where I'm like breaking into the Metro Rail yard or
Yeah, because it
going-
becomes a felony
yeah.
when they add other charges.
Well, just yeah.
Like,
That-
like, how can spray painting or graffiti or whatever, how can it get to become a felony
So
without the other charges added
right.
to it?
If you are notorious or you're so up, your graffiti's everywhere, you could have a case built on you. They're photographing every single tag, and
Area.
everything you do.
One
is
person
going
that
into
one
a book.
person that comes to mind was Chrome.
Yeah, Crook and Chrome. Yeah, they
When
were
they were bombing
notorious
the-
for that. Yeah, everything,
The street signs.
everything. Yeah, the highway signs,
Nah.
everything.
Oh yeah, I can see why that would be a felony, because that's more like a
DOT,
state,
yeah.
it's property, state property.
And then even before, I want to say before Crook and Chrome, we had Deed with the barricades. I remember Deed got wrapped up or whatever happened. But the point is that it could become a felony if you accumulate so many like photos or whatever. It's weird because they have to catch you in the act, but if you don't have a lawyer, then they might be able to bend the scale a little bit and throw everything on you and whatever. But if you have representation, then they're going to be like, well, you caught me or my client doing this, you can't throw all this other stuff on them, even though they may or may not know
Technically,
you
they
did
could-
it. But so
You could be like, I'm a copycat.
yeah, exactly. You got to be caught in the act. So.
Yeah, so basically it needs to build up to be a felony. It's not just going in
Yeah.
and doing that.
Well, I mean, you could just straight up walk up to a courthouse or a police station or any
Your
federal
first time
building or
bombing, you
whatever,
do
yeah.
that, and you're getting hit with a felony.
Yeah, exactly. They don't play when it comes to
Certain
government
things.
property or whatever.
Yeah, their property.
Exactly.
Sons of
Yeah.
bitches.
Public property is one thing. Private property or government or federal, you can be right on the street painting, but depending on what you're painting on and what you're doing, it could be a felony real quick. A lot of places it's instant felony. If the problem is so bad in that city, then
You're done.
yeah, they don't even sell in Chicago. It's really bad. They don't sell spray paint in the city of Chicago. You got to go outside of Chicago to purchase spray paint.
That's
You
crazy.
cannot buy it there. So the problem must have gotten so out of control that they just said, okay, we're not going to sell spray paint at Home Depot, Walmart, wherever it is that you go to get paint. You got to go outside of.
So
Ma-
do
make
do
you
do
work.
you know how far from Chicago? Like where we're
I
next
did it.
town?
I did it. Yeah, just let's say for instance it's here, Miami. You go to Ives-Dairy or County Line Road, and boom, you can go in Broward or buy it, or you could go down south and right where it turns into the Keys or whatever. Whenever that line
Yeah,
crosses,
it's like
boom.
fireworks out here.
Exactly.
Oh, so basically, it's not Chicago. It's just Chicago. It's not the whole state of Illinois. It's just basically
Correct.
Chicago.
Correct. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite type of can?
No.
For
I don't.
real?
I don't. I started painting with Krylon, and shortly after I started painting, then Montana was released or introduced to the states. Yeah,
He's
you had
basically
a
saying he'll make any can his favorite.
fact. Yeah.
What
Like,
about
he'll make you love those cans?
what
Yeah.
about tips?
It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter. Back, if you would ask me this when I first started, I'd be like, oh, I only use Krylon, I only use Montana, I like a thin tip, German thin tip, New York fat cap, whatever it is. These days, I'm doing the orange, so it's different, I use any type of paint. It could be roller paint, it could be cheap aerosol. It doesn't matter to me as long as it
It's the color you need.
yeah, or it could just be black and white. A lot of times when you go to a city, They don't have the luxury of having the 250 color chart palette of this spray paint, whatever. They just got black spray paint, white spray paint, red, blue, green, yellow, whatever.
The primary
if you're
colors.
Lucky, So a lot of times it's funny, in some countries they're just mimicking graffiti with bucket paint. They're doing this stuff with brushes and rollers, and it looks like it's done with spray paint, but it's done with other mediums.
How much you average of spending on paint and?
It's funny, that people always ask me, how much do you spend, how many cans do you go through? I have no idea, dude. I really have no idea. And it's kind of like ignorance is bliss, right? Like up until this point, I say that when I turn 40 next year, I'm really going to start to sharpen my craft and my company and my studio and really be on point with what I'm doing, emails, communication, whatever it is. But everything up until now has just been organic and free-flowing, and I don't keep track of numbers or.
Yeah, I don't think you want to, because you might be like, whoa.
Well, this is the thing. So I've transitioned. So now I like to use bucket paint. I can do huge pieces in a short period of time for a fraction of the cost, because this is just paint. It's not spray paint, a certain color. You get what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you something that I was going to ask you earlier. When it comes to bucket paints and spray paint or markers, does it give a different feel, a different look between a marker or a paint, or they're all basically the same?
No, there's definitely levels to it, for sure. Like Krylon these days, the paint that I started with, I don't use Krylon anymore. I will if I have to, if it's the only paint or whatever. But you have paint, like I mentioned before, the 250 color chart. You have every color there, and you have special effects that can blend the colors and translucents and metallics and different textures and
play
whatnot.
with it.
Yeah, so there's definitely levels to it. You could go and get Quick Color from Home Depot, and it's a 99-cent can. It's not going to give you the same output as the $6 can or the $7 can.
Okay. But let me ask you, is any of them more difficult to get off the wall, or they're all the same? Just wipe it down and it's the same?
There's
because that could also get into the fact of why one would be more of a bigger charge than the other.
Well, yeah. In that regards, you have Edge Bath. Edge Bath is a glass dipping solution, so it frosts glass. You take that same liquid and put it in a marker, and you have acid that burns into glass. So there's no way you can take that off. You have to.
What was that? That sounded.
Edge bath. You have to remove the glass and put a new one in, and glass is expensive. So
I always figured that would be a bigger charge.
That's
big time. Yeah,
boy.
some people don't. You could get arrested. Shit, I got arrested for being in possession of spray paint before I was 18. A minor with this stuff. But the acid marker, the Edge Bath, like some places, when you buy this stuff, your name and your information is automatically forwarded to the law enforcement.
Oh, wow.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
Where do you buy it from?
Online. You used to be able to rack it. You could go to, let's say,
you gotta go to the black market,
a hobby shop or like a arts and crafts store, and if they got it, you take it or you buy it, whatever. However you choose to attain it, you have it.
I was gonna say that there must be a lot of stealing, because you put my information to the feds, but there must be a lot of stealing of that brand, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's difficult. These days I don't think you can get Edge Bath locally here in South Florida off the shelf. So you have to order it.
And that information goes to the cops.
Mm-hmm. Right away.
Now let's jump out the streets real quick. Real quick. What do you say, 47?
Go ahead, I'm following your lead.
Did the studios approach you, or did you approach them?
My first studio was gifted to me. It was like it wasn't an industrial type of situation where I'm at now. It was more of like a office building. So I had to go outside to spray. I could do my stuff inside with the markers and whatever, as long as the smell wasn't that bad. But I was gifted that space, and I had it for a few years. I met a property owner, someone that owned that building and several buildings, and said, hey, you're an artist, you're looking for a spot, come to my place. So bam, I made work there for until I grew out of it, you know. And I bounced around a couple different places. I usually create in an industrial area where I'm able to, you know, open up the
Free
garage
flow,
door
let
and
it roll.
spray. Yeah, because that stuff gets all over the place, you know. When you're out there spraying, or just like cars, for instance, you know, you're spraying cars. You got to do it in a booth, or if you're not in a booth, you're smelling it or whatever. You know what I mean?
And how long have you been in this location, which is what, northwest 7th Ave?
Yeah.
How long have you been in this location?
I've been here maybe like 3 to 5 years, probably closer to 5. Time flies. I forget, to be completely honest with you, but 3 to 5 years I've been in this studio.
And what is it exactly? Because this kind of looks like you can turn this into a club. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is this a
well,
club? You
no,
need a DJ 47. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know.
So this was originally, I don't know what the history of this specific building. When my friend bought this building, it was like a Acme Barricade. I think it was a barricade sign company, you know, construction signs, whatever. And the initial thing was to make it into a print press, because they have another location down the street where they have, like, you know, big, huge presses, you know, for printing. So that was the original intentions for this building, but it's been like a artist, creative, shared space since they purchased it. Yeah.
All right.
Storage also. Yeah.
With the galleries, did you go looking for them or did they come looking for you?
The galleries, I've always done my own thing.
Like what, having your own art show?
Yeah. So
I remember you guys lived in a warehouse, popping up, and you guys had an art show there.
Damn. Right there by Hidden Lake.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I don't remember that art show, but yeah. So my first solo show in Wynwood was DIY. A friend's girlfriend knew a property owner and got a property for a night or for a week or whatever, and we filled it up with my art. We had drinks, we had music, and that was it. Bam.
Did you sell anything?
Yeah, we did it ourselves.
Were you surprised you sold something, or?
Yeah, the outcome was great. I don't think that I was necessarily surprised that I sold stuff, but I was definitely surprised at the response and the outcome.
Nice.
and everyone that came out, the energy, the vibe. That's what I
How
go
many
off
people
of.
you think approximate?
I don't know, maybe 100 or 250
good.
people walk through the door or whatever, you know.
Is that the first time you selling paint, or you been sold?
No, I was already, but I'm talking
Ah.
about my first solo exhibition with these oranges was I want to say like 2014 more or less, and I did it on my own. The next show was a gallery, and I think they approached me. It was just on that same street, and then I did the show there. So it's kind of like a give or take, you know. A lot of times I do it on my own, or a gallery will approach me, whether it's personally or email or social media, and ask me to be a part of a show. I'll mail them stuff. If it's, you know, really cool, or like the red carpet, bam, they fly you out. You go there, you make work, or you just show up, or whatever it is, you know. So.
Your first artwork that you actually painted, right? You know, that you actually sold. Who was it that you sold it to? For how much? And what type of, describe that feeling was to someone buying something that you put your all into.
Right. Well, I don't remember, to be completely honest, the first piece I sold. I remember the first pieces I made with the orange on them. It's 2012. There was a group show in some dude's apartment that he transformed into a gallery, like Midtown Biscayne or whatever. And I made 9 paintings, and none of them sold that night. But eventually, they sold one by one, or I traded them or whatever. I don't remember the price. Maybe it was $100, $200 each piece. I don't know. But it was definitely a great feeling, you know. I think, okay, I specifically remember the first time I sold a painting.
Do you know what year that was?
I would say it was close to 2005, give or take. But this is like a different setting, because I had done stuff before that, of course, commissions or whatever it is. But a painting that I did for myself that I put in a gallery, or maybe I did it with the intentions knowing that this was going to go up and it was going to be placed for sale. It was in Atlanta. We took over a pizza shop and a pizza restaurant.
Oh, Atlanta, Georgia.
In Atlanta, Georgia. And I remember someone like bought my painting And I was very excited about it. I think it was like $40 or something. And I remember going outside, throwing the money in the air. My friends were all laughing and clowning. You know, it was a lot of fun. But that was like graffiti stuff. It wasn't the orange that I paint now. You know?
So you go out of town, so many places you bum, right? So is that a way of hustling? Like, say you go out to Brazil and all like that, and you're running low on funds. You sit there and like, okay, listen, I'll paint you such and such for X amount of dollars. Does that ever come up where, you know, you want trying to make a little extra cash, you out of town, and you're like, hey, let me paint this, and I'll charge you $50, something like that?
My specific experience, no, I've never like run out of money to where I had to just like post up on the street and sell work right then and there. It was always kind of just like, you know, planned or whatever, you know. The Basel Convention Center painting right there, that was, you know, something that I planned out. But Brazil's awesome. I love Brazil. I did Sao Paulo and Rio in 2 separate trips, and Sao Paulo is the most painted city I've ever visited. It's amazing over there as far as like
What year you went out there?
I don't know, maybe I think 2009 was when I went, 2010 when I went to Sao Paulo.
Is that your favorite place that you've been to?
People always ask what's your favorite place, and I always say the last place I went to. So,
Nice.
You know,
That makes sense.
Yeah, the last.
What about your least favorite place?
I don't necessarily have a least favorite place.
No, you just that. Everywhere is good. Everywhere is great.
Yeah. I mean,
To me, I don't like Atlanta. That's my least favorite
well,
place.
hey, no, I have a funny story about Atlanta. The first time I went to Atlanta, they threw me in Fulton County Jail. We were on the West End.
I know a lot of people, man.
Yeah. And I was painting out there, and yeah, they locked me up for a couple days.
They ain't no joke out there.
I wasn't thrilled with
Hold
that
on.
first Atlanta trip.
So when you're in jail and people, what you in for? What do you say? Graffiti?
Yeah.
How do they react?
I don't know.
Do
It's
they
what it
laugh
is,
or
you
do
know?
they like for real dog?
It depends, you know. It really depends on who the person is and what they're in for. I mean, a lot of shit you get locked up for is stupid, you know.
That's
It could have been
true.
prevented.
and I'm sure they know that it's illegal to paint on the wall.
Yeah,
right?
but how many times do you really hear niggas get locked up for graffiti? You don't really hear that.
Maybe the people you hang around with.
I don't have a least favorite place that I've visited. I can't picture one.
Look at him, he being modest
Place.
because he want to make sure he can go back over there and be comfortable and like that. Like, wait a minute, did you say you ain't like my town? What you doing back here?
Yeah, but if he goes and his mission is to go and bomb up the place and he bombs up the place, every place is good.
Yeah.
His good time where certain people are like, yo, I gotta go. Either there needs to be a beach or I have to find some females or I have to have some type of drugs. He has exactly what he needs, a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, I mean, I'm not trying to bring negative into the conversation, but have you ever had a bad experience at any, I know you mentioned, I forgot what town, what country you mentioned, but is there any bad experience of use, because you said all you need is a wall,
Right.
but sometimes that wall might lead into getting arrested and all like that, so you ever
Yeah.
had a bad experience at any of these countries or states that you've been
Yeah. I mentioned before that I've been in trouble in other countries. One specific time that comes to
Different
mind.
country, different jail.
Yeah, it was Mexico City. We went outside of Mexico City to paint freight trains, and they rolled on us. The neighborhood dudes rolled up on us, like 2 dudes in a pickup truck with big ass guns. Get in, you know.
They forced you in the car?
They didn't physically force us, but when you got, you know, dudes with guns and telling you to get in, and the dude that you're with is like, all right, we got caught, we gotta go, you know.
The dude that you're with is a local?
Local, yeah.
You knew him?
Well, I mean, that was my contact, yeah. So I met him.
Nigga.
Yeah. So they took us to the precinct, and that was it. We got let out after a certain amount of time, but it was just kind of gnarly, you know, being like apprehended by someone that wasn't a law enforcement agent or whatever.
I don't think I would have went.
Yeah. Well, it's weird.
So it was
A hero.
yeah.
But out there, they're trying to get their, you know, ultimately we paid the people that apprehended us, we paid the cops that took us to the precinct, and then we paid the officers at the precinct. Bam, we're out. You know, it was just, everyone wants to get paid. There was one situation comes to mind when I went to Bangkok, and we went to a wedding in Phuket or Phuket. You know, the people like to say Phuket.
PHU.
Yeah. Getting there was a mission, dude. We had to like take a plane. The plane ride was really gnarly. Then we had to take a bus. The bus was really gnarly. Then we had to take a boat.
God
The boat
damn,
was really
boy.
gnarly. I was just nauseous. I mean, this was like, you know, a lot of time. And then when we got there, it was all like tourist trap. You get what I'm saying? I mean, the wedding was cool and the people were cool. The party was cool, but it was just like, it wasn't necessarily, I don't remember doing anything worthwhile in Phuket. Now, I know that I'm sure there's very beautiful beaches and things outside of the tourist area, but we weren't staying there. We were staying in this with this group of people, whatever. So that was like, I would go back. I would totally go back to Thailand. Bangkok was amazing. And I know that the island of Phuket is amazing, or Phuket, however. I don't know. I don't speak Thai, so I don't know exactly how it's pronounced, spelled, whatever. But that was kind of like I was in a tourist trap. It wasn't necessarily like the best vibes.
Did you bomb out there?
Yeah, just little marker tags and stickers and stuff. But and maybe a couple fill-ins or spray painting.
If someone's on a budget, all these countries you actually been to, and they can only go to one of them, which one would you recommend?
I tell people in Miami,
Go to Brazil.
no, that they should go to Cuba. Cuba's close. There's a good scene, a great scene over there. It's not that expensive.
How's the food?
Food's good. Food's great.
I'll be sure it is amazing.
Yeah.
I heard no. The Cuban food that y'all used to, La Careta and El Cafecito.
Yeah, they're poor. They're real poor.
It's
out
not like
there.
that
So,
at all over there.
It's weird because I have a funny experience story. I was with a local, and instead of going to the tourist
I
trap,
kind of want like Careta now, yo. But anyway, go ahead.
when we went to this dude's spot where he was eating, it was cheap. You know, he's like, no, we're not going to spend $20 on a meal. I barely make, whatever it is. So we weren't going to the tourist trap restaurants where they charge you what we're used to paying over here. We were going to other places and eating in the Chinatown out there in Havana, whatever. And I remember it was like a mystery meat or something, and my homeboy couldn't do it. He couldn't eat the meal. And let's fast forward, or actually rewind to when I was in Rome. I remember I was in Rome or Milan, and this is Italy. I want like some bomb spaghetti or some like real good Italian food. We could not find Italian food anywhere.
What?
And it's all about who you're with, right? If we were with the right people, they would have said, okay, let's go here. Bam, best food, lowest price, whatever it is. But when you're kind of just like, you don't know where you're at. You don't know the spots. You got to eat, like you're in a big city. Last thing I could find in Italy was Italian food.
That's
crazy.
What the fuck did you find? What did you end up eating?
I have no idea, dude. I
McDonald's?
don't remember, man. But you try not to eat McDonald's,
Of
right?
course.
When you go, sometimes it's fun when they have like different stuff on the menu or whatever that they don't really have here. But dude, you don't want to eat
At
you don't
all.
want to travel.
Wait. So when you go to other countries and you go to McDonald's, they have a different type of menu?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Fact.
Even in Canada.
Fact. Yeah.
Canada had some shit called poutine. Poutine is French fries, gravy, like what we have like on the mashed potatoes.
I had that in Vancouver.
And then chunks of cheese.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
I couldn't fuck with it.
Yeah. No, but they have it. I remember someone telling me like the
Mickey D's
first
got that
the first time or the second time I went to Japan, someone told me it was like a spicy chicken and cheese, or I forget what it was called, and it was
Look how calm and cool he said that.
Yeah.
He was like, the first time or maybe the second time I went to
I
Japan.
love Japan. Japan's great. I recommend traveling anywhere in the world. Leave your city, leave your state, leave your country, and travel, because you can't match that experience.
I
Good, bad, ugly, whatever. You can't match it.
I definitely agree with that, but I mean, most of the places I traveled was in the States and all
Right.
like that. Like the only places like Haiti and the Virgin Islands, the only two places outside the country I traveled. But I do want to. I want to go to Italy, but I don't know now. If I can't find some good Italy food, Italian food.
So the first time I went to Italy,
First time.
First time, you hear that?
it might have been the only time. But when I went to Italy, I did 3 towns or 3 cities: Rome, Milan, and then a smaller town called Pesaro. So there was a dude, graffiti, hip hop, MC, all that, came to the beach to study English, and I picked him up at the airport, showed him around, took him to the warehouse at Hidden Lake, and showed him a good time. He said, yo, you got to come and check me out. When you come to Italy, you got to come, come and visit me in Italy. I'll show you a good time. He had a great time out here. So, bam, I went to his town. He was working in Milan or Rome at the time and met me in his hometown, took time off to go and take me to his region, his hood, and his food, and that
dope.
was, amazing. So it really all depends on who you're with, and, you could get McDonald's or you could get some real good home cooking or whatever,
Gotta have people.
Well, let me ask you one question. You said when you go out of town and then you bomb places and all, you say, well, sometimes I just put stickers. Is it the actual stickers or that's like a slang for something else?
No, stickers are stickers, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it's printed. Most of the times the stickers that I put up are printed stickers with my name or with my character. Most of the time it's with my character.
Okay, I thought it was like graffiti, slang, and all
Right.
like that.
Yeah, stickers. Yeah, there's a big culture surrounding the whole sticker movement. Yeah.
Sticker movement is serious.
Yeah,
worldwide.
I take a sticker that I get from the post office for free and sell it for $25.
Okay.
People like stickers, and I'm drawing on that one. I'm not, going and putting that one up. That one could be framed and, it's signed, dated, embossed, whatever.
Can you draw anything? Like if I said, listen, I'm about to move in this spot, I want something, nice. Is it, if I say I want this type of style, can you do it, or it's...
I can paint anything with a reference. Now, there's certain people that don't need a reference. There's caricature artists that could draw you up in a caricature cartoon format, and I've always respected that. Cartoonists as well, that could just come up with anything on the spot, on the fly, and create it right then and there. That's not really my style. I have to have a reference. I'm limited to what I can paint without a reference.
But you got some serious work. I remember seeing your books back in the day. Like shit.
The books were serious, man. The black books, yeah, you definitely.
Black books were they were like
honed your
Bibles.
craft. Yeah, you took
Pass
your
them
time.
around, but make sure it come back.
A lot of them don't come back. Yeah.
Nah, I found somebody's forgot who it was right now, but I'm talking about like 92, 93, like my freshman year of high school.
Yeah, no, when I remember when I got arrested the first time or whatever, and I had to throw all my stuff away, I had a book with Mir and Enner and all my friends, but like the stuff that Mir did in that book was very inspirational to me, and I wish I had it to this day,
And you put it in the trash.
I had to throw it away, yeah.
Mom and Dad said,
get it out of here. We don't want it in our house, yeah. But yeah, the black books were serious,
But not for nothing, the fact that you threw them away, I'm sure some of those images are still clearly in your mind.
Fact, yes.
Which might end up. It ended up probably working out for you a little bit more.
Right. Yeah, you had to.
You were forced to
imagine it,
remember it. That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
We're about to wrap this up right about now. 4-7. Do you have any other?
I mean, before we wrap up, the question is, where are you going?
Where am I going? I want to go to Hawaii for my 40th birthday. I went to Hawaii on my honeymoon, and that's a beautiful, beautiful place. I wanted to go to Montreal for my birthday this year, but COVID stopped that. Yeah. I don't know. I mentioned Antarctica. I'd like to. There's so many. I've been to a lot of places, but there's still many more that I haven't been to. So I'd like to do Eastern Europe. I'd like to travel Asia. I'd like to do Northern Africa, Central Africa. I'd like to visit New Zealand and go to Russia. And there's plenty of places. There's sky's the limit.
Who do you go with on these trips?
It varies. I gotta give a shout out to Cab from LA. Cab was the dude that inspired me and motivated me and pushed me and said, hey, let's go to Europe, get your passport. And we did just that. We did Madrid, we did Milan. He bounced. I did Amsterdam. I went back to Barcelona. I went back to Rome.
By yourself?
Yeah. So it's give or take. Now I travel with my family. We went to Japan last year for an exhibition in December. That was amazing, I've been to a bunch of places with my family. I travel solo as well. I travel with friends.
Whoever's down to go.
All of the above, yeah.
All
if
right,
no one's down to go, I'm going, and I'll meet up with people there.
Hey, you need to start calling me, homie. I got your back.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
I want to go to Haiti, dog.
I told you, let's
I'm
go
down to
whenever
ride.
you're ready.
We'll
Let's
hit
go.
up Snoopy Tag and we'll be painting out there.
You hear that, Snoopy Tag? Your name's coming out of the king's mouth up over here.
Yeah, no, we're going.
Does white train mean anything to you?
No, it does not mean
The
anything.
fuck
to me.
does that mean?
It's a reference from Wild Style. Whenever
Right,
they saw
right,
a
yeah.
clean train with no graffiti. they're
Yeah,
like-
I think
they
I think
they
it might be white elephant. That might be the term for it. But I remember watching that movie and they painted all the trains, right?
Yeah, I could probably said it wrong, but all I know is like man had a hard on every time we saw a clean train with no graffiti.
Yeah.
It just makes it's a blank
Time to
canvas.
go.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. For sure.
Right now, the only something that just popped into my mind. I've never looked at graffiti as a dangerous art form.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, you remember Spit
remember Merc?
and Ramo on the third rail? Remember Merc? I got a tag on the Palmetto right now where I threw him up. I was driving home one night, went over the overpass right there, the pedestrian overpass, and I stopped. Did a little Atomic Merc tag. Rest in peace, Kiki.
Is
in peace,
that the one
Mark.
who fell off?
Yeah,
They say he fell off. Now, it's weird, you know. The
What's
news.
your
well,
recollection?
the news will say one thing once they get the reports back and everything. I remember some of the homies saying he may or may not have fell off. Maybe he was running across. You don't know.
Nah,
You know,
I
but
know what
people-
happened. I
yeah.
know. This is how I know. I went to a car. I was at a garage right next to Tamiami Airport,
Mm-hmm.
taking my dirt bike there. Kiki had just passed away, and Trent is the one that owns the. He owns the shop. He's a cool ass mechanic dude. Restores old cars. I brought them my motorcycle, my dirt bike, because I was like, yo, I see how much they pay attention to the minor details. I wanted somebody like that working on the bike. These people really aren't my friends. They don't know me. They don't know what neighborhood I'm from. He just knew me through somebody else that basically told me to go there. He's having a conversation with another customer, and the customer's saying, yeah, I was on the highway,
No.
and some
came
kid
right-
fell off.
Fuck.
So he did fall off.
Right.
Trying to put his name on one of the signs on the highway.
Yeah. Well, there was there was the pedestrian. They redid that whole pedestrian overpass right there by the Best Buy and Bird Road, Palmetto.
You know
And
what?
if I
You know
remember
what? I don't
correctly-
even know where it is.
If I remember correctly, there was
Isn't it like off 120th? I mean.
nah. We're talking 826 and 40th Street, Bird Road.
Oh, okay. Why am I
Pedestrian
thinking
pedestrian overpass. Before they redid the new one, I think that the highway sign was separate from the pedestrian overpass. I don't know. Whatever. Regardless of how he passed away, a lot of people. I don't know what the initial question was. I might have interrupted you before you concluded the question or finished your question, but a lot of people have lost their lives. You know, one way or another, doing graffiti. Of course, yeah. There's
Shout out
plenty
to
of
the
people.
fallen soldiers. 'Cause
Yeah.
them boys were out there trying to literally
Yeah.
trying to catch fame, putting their name on something, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Whether they
went
got
out.
shot or stabbed or fell or whatever it is, there's hit. I mean, there's a bunch of third rail. There's plenty of ways to go out, and a lot of people have passed away doing this art form.
yeah, that's a sad, very sad thing.
Yeah.
But also, how do you go up to like a sign like on the highway and not get caught? Is what I want to know. Like, how do you?
Right.
'Cause I see so many of it left and right. I'm like, man, he must have got arrested. I'm gonna and then
Yeah.
a lot of people get away. How do you get away? Like, you got to be quick on your toes and all. That's a
Yeah.
lot of cars passing on the highway.
It depends if you're hitting the front or the back. Picture, going down I-95 at 3 in the morning, and you're hauling ass, and you're going home, and you're not looking at the back of every single sign or whatever, but someone could go up there within 5 minutes and spray it up real quick and do their thing. Now, there's also the people that really don't care and do it right on the front of the sign with the lights on them, and someone's there. It's really give or take,
you ever did one of those?
I've done highway signs. I don't think that I've done the front. Oh, I did the front of a highway sign, but it was like an old kind of beat up one that they're redoing that whole interchange now.
What
but
location was that?
That was
Is this incriminating?
yeah, sure. It's online. It's online. All that shit's online. It was the 826 or no, the 836, 395, I-95 interchange. And I remember there was a sign eastbound that said like to Miami Beach or something, but the bottom of it and like I guess maybe it had been hit before or something, but like it was just, I wasn't painting over, it wasn't like a pristine new sign. And what I did wasn't even really that like damaging, it wasn't that great. It was, once you get up to these signs and you're actually painting there, like to do something large and visible and solid, like you really got to be prepared for it. It's not just some, I'm gonna hop up there and do it. And that's exactly what I did. But yeah, I mean, you just climb. You climb. You know, you climb up there.
I'm here looking at you as you waving your arm left and right with all your tattoos.
Oh.
Is any of that your artwork?
No. Oh, well, the first tattoo I got on my back is my artwork. Yeah.
And what is it?
It's a piece that says Atomik.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a 28 on there. There's like a brain with a spinal cord. There's like splashes and yeah, it's a piece I didn't want to see. I'm very critical of my own work, you know, and I'm actually very critical of work that's like I'm always looking at the work and saying, oh, you know, this could be this could be that, whatever, you know. So if it was my own work, forget it. I would probably get a cover up or something. But the only piece that I've done the work for that I sketched and had was my first tattoo. It goes across my shoulder blades on the back.
Okay. So basically, how far you want to take this artwork? Like, what are your small goals to your big goals and like that? Like, what's the end goal for this whole thing?
I've always said I wanted to paint like a skyscraper, like a 10-story building.
Nice.
I've always wanted to do, you know, that. I've always wanted to paint a large building.
You always wanted to, or that's what your goal is? You're going to do.
Right. Well, I would love to, and I'm going to paint a 10-story building eventually. You look at, you know, I guess now I'm getting into sculptures. You look at Cause and all these people, Botero, and these like sculpture artists that have these like gigantic sculptures. So maybe it would be cool to have a gigantic sculpture 3 stories tall or something.
You have anything in mind that what would you do to that skyscraper?
Well, at this point, I copy and paste. You know, I do my orange everywhere. So it will probably be like a series of oranges, or maybe just one huge orange face, or maybe with the limbs or whatever. There might be some letters in there. I'm not sure what I would do. I would have to see the space and then work with the people that are giving me the space, unless there's creative freedom, 100%, whatever. But if I was to do something on that wall, yeah, I would figure it out with the person that owns it, or if it was up to me, I'd just do my orange.
All right. Are we still bombing
I'm still bombing.
actively?
I took a break. After 2018, I took a break. And now what I do, I don't really bomb that hard and go big. I try to just do little, they call them landmarks. So little discreet, like thin tip tag
Like
with
the
spray
bottom of the
paint.
sidewalk type of shit. I like those.
Yeah, little things with a date on it so it could last a long time and stand the test of the buff, you know? Won't get painted over or whatever. I'm still doing my thing. And outside of tagging, forget tagging and writing my name, like I do my orange. I don't got permission to do my orange a bunch of times. So that I do big and bold and you know, it's not just a discreet little thing, but it's a different message. It's a different content. People see it and are like, oh, it's dope, you know, or, well, I'm sure the landlord or the property owner isn't really feeling
happy
it that
at
much,
all.
but sometimes they are, you know, sometimes they like it and hit me up like, oh, I like this, thanks a lot, whatever.
Yeah, if they don't like that color, if they don't like the color orange, then you in trouble.
Yeah, well, I don't always use orange. I do other colors because since I paint the same thing.
Of the logo?
Yeah.
You'll change up the colors?
Yeah, well, you saw it outside. There's pink, there's purple, there's
okay, that's
red
right,
and green and silver and black and white and whatever. So
That's dope.
Yeah, since I paint the same thing over and over again, I don't always do orange.
All right, so how long does it take you to do this piece now that you've been doing it? For how long have you been doing this piece?
Like 10 years, give or
10
take, maybe 12 years.
How long will it take you to do one?
It depends. There's levels to it. If I just took one color and spray painted it, I could probably do it in 2 to 3 minutes, just one color. Bam, you know? Just the lines and only filling in the eyes. This one behind me has lowered eyelids, but usually it's a bright-eyed where the eyes are like Pac-Man. You can still see the Pac-Man in the black of the eyes.
I was noticing
but
that.
Yeah, that's what takes the most time because I'm literally there filling in the, you know, solid.
How long it took you to do this piece?
This piece, you know, I would say it probably took me anywhere from 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's quick, you know. With the spray can, it's quick. It's not like oil paints. If oil painting artist was to do something this size, it might take them years because you have to wait for every layer
to dry
before you can go to the next one. So it's not like this where this stuff just goes over and over quick, fast, whatever.
Do you try to add little different marks to it to make it different, or you want it all exactly the same?
No, I don't try to make it the same. I don't try to make it different. Some pieces I will give more detail to when it comes to the studio work. I mean, I painted it hundreds of times, if not thousands of times on canvas. So I do try sometimes to step out of the comfort zone or what I'm usually doing and, do a different color scheme or do the arms and the legs and whatever. And I have like visions of doing still lifes and portraits and things that are not this when I'm older and in my studio or in my house or whatever, just with a brush. I don't know if that'll happen, but sometimes I do try to distinguish it from the next one, but I'm on the cookie cutter, copy and paste, repetition.
You grinding out the orange.
Yeah.
You grinding out the orange.
The character is gonna have family soon.
That's smart. Hey,
yeah. I've done it where there's just recently right by Debonair, I painted a dude's warehouse behind the Publix on 120th Street. Very nice place, very nice dude. Shout out to Omar. He asked me to do his kids. He had 4 kids, wanted me to do them, so I did 4 oranges in different colors. Excuse me, and that was a family of oranges right there.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. What is the weirdest thing you put the orange on? Goddamn Rari door.
The Ferrari door, yeah.
In my eyesight, there's a bright red, candy red Ferrari door. Now, just the door, y'all. Just the door. Somebody took the goddamn Ferrari.
Do it. Damn, man. Shout out to Carlos and Cam. These are my people. Hey,
Carlos, how you doing, buddy?
I appreciate you, Cedric, for sure.
Carlos, how you doing today?
I can either confirm or
Look at this guy, looking like you're crazy right now.
You guys look crazy.
Yeah, this is a wild setup. All right, shout out to
how you doing? How you doing?
Family and everyone. I love y'all.
This place is amazing. We will be back again.
Oh, here we go. 5. What did he say an hour ago? All right. Well, shit. Good times at my hotel. Let me know what time. That's right. We out.
Shout out 3100 Miami. Bro.
Yo, 3100.
3100.
3100 Miami. Hit us up.
We will be here again. We will be back soon.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap this one up. What you saying, 47?
Well, I say, where can we find you?
Oh, find me on Instagram at Atomiko, Atomiko. That's where you can find me. Or you can find me in the streets, 3 o'clock in the morning, spraying some shit up in your hood.
Booyah!
So now I know the
Yeah.
sun has been. That if I see just a little dash of orange even on my grass, I'm like, I know where I'm going.
Atomiko. And, okay, you got any shout-outs? Any upcoming artists? Anybody want to give a shout-out to? Props?
Nah, I pretty much went through it all. I mean, keep an eye out for me in Basel. I always post what I'm going to do. If it's an exhibition or a pop-up or some sort of thing where you can slide, I post it on my IG.
Do you have anything coming up?
At the moment, I got a jean jacket that I painted for the Museum of Graffiti. They're going to do an activation at Faina.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
In Wynwood, in the beach, excuse me. So not South Beach, but there's a place called Faina. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but during Basel they're gonna exhibit the jacket along with other artists' jackets. So check that out during Basel.
There's a graffiti museum that just opened up.
There's several graffiti museums across the world, street art museums. We are lucky enough to have one here in Miami, Florida, called the Museum of Graffiti, and I want to give a shout out to Allison, Ket, Mayor, Noah, all these people, that put it together and made it happen. It's an incredible place. If you come to Wynwood, check them out.
Do you have any pieces in there?
I did a collaboration with them. It's a long sleeve. So if you go to their gift shop, you could purchase something that I have there for sale. I don't have anything. I had a piece. They have a space, a gallery space where they rotate shows and exhibitions. They did one called Wet Paint, and I had a piece in there. Yeah, Museum of Graffiti is real dope.
Have you ever been to the trap house on museum in Atlanta?
Never.
Have you heard of it?
Never.
Oh, you should look it up.
I think maybe I've seen pictures of it, but I don't. That doesn't ring a bell. I'll check them out. I love ATL. Yeah.
All right, well, Atomik, I want to say thank you very much for giving me some time.
Thank
you
you.
would have had some problems if you didn't.
Appreciate y'all.
You know what I'm saying?
That's collab, man, for sure.
Definitely. Hey, man, I love and respect your fucking work. I love driving through my city and seeing you up, side of the billboard, side of the highway, all through Wynwood. Like, every time I see it, I'm like, hey, that's my dog right there.
Hell yeah.
I'm very proud of you, man, and I'm sure your parents are happy, so...
Round of applause.
Keep up the good work, man. You got the whole hood on your back, man.
Thank
we
you.
love you.
Thank you.
My G.
For sure. Appreciate y'all.
And we out.
What's up, world? It's your boy DJ47. Thanks for tuning in to our YouTube page. If you like what you see, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to us as we hit you with new videos every week. 1.